Good afternoon, it's Dave at ATI Watch Reviews. Please hit that like button and please smash that subscribe button for more awesome watch content. Little wristwatch check. Got my very trusty AD 2063 on with that cream dial. Love this thing, only 38mm, can be had for an absolute steal. Very comfortable, very modest watch, fully solid stainless steel with a double dome sapphire crystal. GMT movement, a lot of positives with this watch. But today's video is a review of a brand new 2025 ultra thin model. This is the PD-YS020 and it is a 37mm by only 7mm thick timepiece. It's actually a quartz. You can see there that it is obviously a PVD gold model that I've got it in, but you can get it in just the stainless steel. I've got it with a gradient dial, as you can see there, an absolutely stunning blue that blends into a kind of very dark blue, very dark navy as you go to the outer of the dial. It is a quartz, but it does have a flat sapphire crystal, completely flat, maybe a smidge of a millimeter proud of the case there, of the bezel. It runs on a Quartz VJ21 movement, which is going to be accurate to around 20 seconds, 15 to 20 seconds per month. Obviously, it's a super thin movement to get it into this case. And it is 100-meter water resistant. The case back does indeed have the model number on it. I was just checking that there. PD-YS020. An ultra thin from Pagani. I don't think they've ever done one this thin before. And I can confirm it is super, super comfortable on wrist. It is actually an homage. Do you know which watch brand that it's paying tribute to? Put it down in the comments below if you know the model and the luxury brand that it is based upon somewhat. Notice that very interesting fixed stainless steel bezel. It's not a dive bezel because it isn't a dive watch, although it does have 100-meter water resist, which is great. So for all intents and purposes, you can go swimming with it, no problem. And it has a completely integrated, very interestingly polished, with both brushed elements and some inner polishing there, stainless steel tapering bracelet going down to a symmetrical butterfly clasp. Nothing fancy, but done quite well. And it is signed with the Pagani crest. And you do have arrows. And just letting you know, I have actually taken out just one link on the 6 o'clock side, and it is just pins. Very easy to do. They give you the arrows. But I probably do in fact prefer it with all the links in because I've got 7¼ inch wrist and I like it pretty loose. Let's get straight into the sizing. So measuring the lower ring of the bezel, because it's kind of like a 2-ring design, it is indeed less than 37mm. It's actually 36.4. With crown included, the overall diameter is 39.7. Lug to lug is 44.7, so still very small really. But the end-link to end-link is about 53.9. I know it's difficult to measure it really on this integrated bracelet, but that's what makes the watch feel a lot bigger than 37mm. The end-link to end-link is pretty big on this thing. With a thickness of bang on 7mm. 7mm. Wowzers. Now, because of the way they've done this integrated bracelet with quite a large, strong end link to end link of 50, just shy of 54mm, the watch absolutely feels bigger than 37. It actually feels like a 40mm watch is the way I would describe it, because of that bigger end link to end link measurement. Essentially, that's what's doing it, in my opinion. But because the thickness is only 7 tiny millimeters thick, unbelievably thin. You've probably never worn a watch this thin. I mean, I've never worn one before this thin. I know they do some luxury brands that do them extremely thin. But, you know, on one of my measurements, I actually got 6.9. I didn't even get 7, although I did today. But when I measured it the other day, I got 6.9. So it is beautifully thin. Let's get it weighed. And as you can see there, with all the links, including the one that I've taken out, the weight is around 110, 111 grams. So very light for an all bracelet watch, because this is an integrated bracelet. To my knowledge, they don't sell it with a rubber band. So it is very, very light. Now I'm going to say that because this watch is so thin, but it does have that large end link to end link dimension of 54mm roughly, even though it's super thin, and even though it's only 37mm, 40mm overall, the watch feels overall, I would say, like a 40mm, 39mm watch. It doesn't feel like a 36mm, because I would never wear it in a million years. If it was a 37mm, I would never wear it like that, because it's too small for me. Now, it is still too small for me, it is, but I can just about pull it off with my wrist, as you're going to see in a bit. It's very versatile. Maybe they need to bring out a 39mm or a 40mm for the people who would prefer to wear a 43, 42mm watch, to see what that would do. That would probably make the weight more like 130, 140 grams. But ultimately, they've kept everything thin. Even the links are pretty thin, as you're going to see later. It's an extremely versatile size. You don't have to have anything particular. Girls can easily wear this, because as I've said, this feels more like a 39, 40mm watch. And men can definitely pull it off on practically any wrist size. If you've got a bigger wrist than me, you probably are going to feel it's a bit too small though, if you've got like 7.5 inch above. The crystal is a flat sapphire crystal that is ever slightly proud of the bezel. You can see that there. Let's check if it is actually sapphire. They're claiming it is. And it is indeed sapphire. With the price I paid, I was a little bit skeptical that this might not be a sapphire crystal. But it is indeed, which is very good, because obviously you get the scratch resistance that you don't get on a mineral crystal to the same degree. I'm glad they've gone with a flat crystal, because if it's one thing I'm not the biggest fan of, especially for photography, is domed crystals. The dial is very simple, very minimal, but very, very sleek. The blue they've used is excellent, and it goes perfectly with this gold. It also would go well in just a silver, the stainless steel. I chose it in blue. You can get some other colour options. I like gold, and I also like it with blue. I think it goes perfectly with blue, essentially. One of my favourite watches is the bluesy. So I love that type of colour aesthetic, and I think they've done a really good job. It looks way more than 100 quid, let's be honest, it does. I paid, by the way, a lot less than 100 quid, but I'm saying that it looks so much better. They've gone with a very nice gradient, a somewhat punchy mid blue in the centre, going out to a very dark navy blue on the outer ring near the chapter ring. It looks Excellent, especially in the day. As you're going to see, it looks even better now than in these photography lights. But as you can see, it is a gradient dial. It is beautiful, there's no question about it. And they've kept it ultra minimal, which is what I like. They've gone with just the crest for the logo. There's no mention of Pagani. And they've just got sapphire without 100 meter on. Doesn't say the water resistance, but it does say Japan movement. There is a chapter ring, again, minimal, with the accented in gold indices. Just a simple rectangle baguettes. I think it is very simple, very dressy, what I like to see really. I don't like dials that are too cluttered unless they're on a tool watch, like on a G-Shock. The bezel is completely fixed and it has these little notches going all the way around it, and it's kind of planted on top of a kind of sub bezel ring that is polished. The polishing on it does make it look dressy. Branding is, as usual, very good. We've got the crest logo on the dial. We've got a crown that is signed. Case back that is obviously signed. And obviously the clasp. The case to me has a somewhat retro look about it. But the striking thing is obviously the thickness, because the case's thickness is only 2.7mm. And it has drilled lugs, as you can see there. So you can indeed remove this integrated bracelet. And they have indeed polished the edges of the flanks, because they've put a polish on there to ensure that nothing digs in on both the top and bottom of the flanks. Moving on to the case back, it's a simple stainless steel laser engraved one. Just kept it simple. I would have liked to have an exhibition window on it, but with it being so thin, that must be something to do with why they haven't done that at this price point. As you can see there, just has stainless steel Pagani design, PD-YS020 with 100 meter water resist. Moving on to the bracelet, it is obviously integrated and it is highly tapering, as you can see. Quite a bit of articulation, going down to a very simple symmetrical clasp, butterfly, simple mechanism. But you don't have to remember which side to release or put on first. You can put either side on first, it's not a problem. And the actual engagement and disengagement is just fine. The links have the chamfered edges polished, but not the main body of the flanks, and also not the main body. The main body is all brushed. With a very simple pin system, there's no collars or anything, it is just a single pin. And you don't get any half links, you just get full links basically. Let's get it on wrist. And that's it on the wrist. I love the way the light reflects off that bracelet with all them little edges and chamfers and polishes and stuff. Definitely looks blingy and it definitely looks dressy. doesn't really look tooly. It looks like a dressy, blingy watch, if that's your thing. And I think it looks way bigger on my wrist because of that big end-link to end-link than 37mm or even 40mm. I think it looks like it fits my wrist. My wrist is about 7¼ inch. I've taken one link out, nothing digs in on the bracelet or case. Everything is nicely rounded off, so there's no issues there. There's no crown guards. The crown protrudes by about, just guessing, 4mm, something like that. Now, one thing to check definitely is the lume. This is with some background light. As you can see, it's not the worst lume in the world by any stretch of the imagination. Definitely seen a lot worse. Obviously, it is on the very narrow baguettes, but it is there. And that's it in complete darkness. So the seconds hand isn't lumed, obviously. The baguettes and hands are in a different colour than the final indices. When I heard that Pagani are doing a 7mm thick watch, I was worried that it might suck, basically. But this thing absolutely does not suck. And if you're thinking about buying a much more expensive watch in 7mm, or you just want a fun, accurate, do anything gather watch, because you can do anything really with this watch. You know, you can wear it with a suit, you take it on holiday, weekend beater. I'm not saying it's going to be super durable. Only time will tell in that dimension. But it doesn't feel that bad build quality. It feels pretty good. The links are only 2.3mm thick. Now, with discounts and coupons off AliExpress, I paid less than 70 quid, which I think is an extremely good deal for if you just want to try a 7mm watch and how it feels on the wrist at only 110 grams, then I can't think of any other watches that I know that wouldn't cost £1,000 that are this thin, that look like this, that have the specs of this thing with a sapphire crystal and the fully solid bracelet and all that. I don't know any that wouldn't cost hundreds of pounds more. So it is a fun watch, but ultimately it looks way more expensive than what, you know, they're asking for it. There is an affiliate link down below if you want to pick it up and make a tiny bit of commission at no extra cost to you. Overall, I'm going to give this a 7.5. They've not done bad at all with this thing. I would like to see a bigger option, and I would actually like to see an automatic version. And also, although I would probably mainly wear it on the bracelet, I'd like to see an option in with a rubber band. But 7mm. My biggest concern, now I have this 7mm watch, is actually getting used to it being so thin, because I wear watches that are up to 20mm with some of my G-Shocks. So I'm hoping I don't get used to this thing because I don't want to get used to such a thin watch. But hope you've liked this little video. It's been Dave. Have a great day. Cheers.